Hello. Right, I thought I'd do a little video on this because, I don't think I've ever done one actually. I think I did one for the bicycle, pertaining specifically to the bike equipment. Some of this stuff actually here comes from the bicycle, which was the journey I made. If you've seen some of the videos from the UK to the Turkish border, it was in Bulgaria that my bike had some issues, and then I went through to Istanbul, stayed there a month, and then continued on from the Turkish-Georgian border to Bajormi, where I trained it to Tbilisi. So I did an equipment kind of video on that, but I've never actually done one on the stuff that I generally carry. And, I've been traveling now for over 10 years, we could say, to a lot of different places. And so I think this is useful to some people because what I have, I consider, for the most part, to be essentials. Like, I like to travel in a minimalistic way, bare minimum, things that can be replaced. And so everything that I have now, I've prioritized. There's really nothing that I don't need to carry for the most part. I've got a kind of policy in life where if I don't use something in a certain amount of time, I'll sell it, I'll give it away, I'll throw it away, depending on what it is. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a little video on this. So we'll just start with the, I'll give a bit of context. So I've just arrived in Narin. So if you've seen the videos just preceding this in the last couple of days, and I'll be uploading more actually today. Today's my rest day, hence this video. I come from Kashgar, Xinjiang in China, up through the border with Kyrgyzstan, which is one of the craziest journeys of my life. It's been 3 days of pure adventure. It's been great. And I'm going to be updating a lot of the various web pages like HitchWiki and Hitcher and Caravanistan, Travelers Point, these kinds of websites, because there's actually no information, given that China's recently changed a lot of their policies with respect to crossing this particular border, about hitchhiking or walking or cycling or any of that kind of stuff. So looking forward to updating that for some people that are interested. Anyway, so this is what I carry. So this is a 25-pound Mountain Warehouse windproof jacket. Pretty lightweight. It compacts down into this little pouch here. And yeah, I actually didn't even pay for that. I had a gift voucher from somewhere, so I just threw that onto this. And it was for £25, so essentially that's free. And yeah, it's been pretty useful actually. And I can tell you that I've been wearing all the layers when I crossed through the Tian Shan the day before yesterday. And this was better than everything else combined. I mean, it's the wind that gets you often. It's not so much the cold. Obviously, the rain can be an issue, and I don't have a properly waterproof jacket. And frankly, I haven't ever needed one. I don't see the need to carry something big and bulky. This is probably water resistant. It's definitely not waterproof. But yeah, pretty useful. One of those, that's all you need. Tent here. This isn't my tent actually. I got rid of my Berghaus red tent, which you may have seen in many videos. Amazing quality tent. I got that off Amazon, I want to say in around 2015, and used it 1,000 times. It's been in festivals in Uzbekistan, it's been in forests in Slovenia, it's been everywhere. However, when I couldn't get into Iran, hence why I ditched the bike in Georgia, because they don't allow British tourists to enter without being on a tour, I had to kind of compact my gear down and get rid of a lot of the bike stuff. And so I got rid of that tent after all that time, which was very certain pieces of equipment that you carry for a very, very long time, you kind of grow attached to. And yeah, it was a really good tent. And even to the last day, I still didn't know how to set that tent up properly. It was the weirdest shape. And actually, the only time I've ever seen it done correctly was at the music festival called Stihia, which, by the way, is happening next month, again, in Moynak in Uzbekistan. And it was done by a Dutch lady. She just did it straight away. I've never been able to do it properly. But regardless of that, that tent was great. This one I used to do a day camp with a Russian that I met in Kathmandu. And a British guy actually was giving away his tent. And he gave it to, I believe, another Dutch guy. The Dutch guy said I could have it for a day and bring it back the next day. Came back the next day, the guy had checked out. So, and I had space in my bag, and even though that tent is pretty well trashed, I'll be honest, it's bits of the base are taped, and it's actual, the zip, the opening is completely broken, so the front remains open. So I'm going to actually have to get that fixed, and maybe here in Narim. But, having a tent that's pretty simple to set up, which this one is, and lightweight, is always a good thing. I think this is Something Valley. It's the biggest Chinese company, I think. Sleeping bag. Yeah, I've basically just been carrying this around because it was very expensive. Well, I say very, I'm pretty much a cheapskate, but this was probably about $200. And it's supposed to go down to -15. It's goose feathered one. I can't remember the actual terminology for that. It's feather down, duck down, something like that. I used that a few times cycling through Belgium and France, and actually there was a big problem because they're not good for moisture. It's good if it's cold and it's dry, but the moment it gets moist, and of course if it's raining and you've still got to get on your bike and go the next morning, and consequently you can't dry it out, you've got to pack it damp, it started getting mildew straight away and moulding. And it actually did that within the first day, pretty much. So I sent pictures to Amazon and they actually just refunded me for that and let me keep it. And I've just been carrying it around because it is useful to have a good quality sleeping bag, and it doesn't really take up much space. It is good quality. It's lightweight, and I strap it down to its absolute minimum. Jumper, literally just got this for £10, handmade, gorgeous jumper in Nepal. Because I needed it because I was flying to South Korea soon after Bangladesh, and it turned out to be like -5, so it's freezing. So that's the warmest thing I have, and it's useful, and I like it. It's got vibe, it's got colour. Pair of gloves under here, sandals. Bought those in Sao Paulo or Rio over a year ago, and I've been wearing them pretty much every single day. Those are brilliant. They're on their last legs, but I love them. I'm a sandal and sock man now, which is very German, but I have to say I now empathise and understand why Germans have a fascination with socking their sandals. What else have we got? Yeah, just a little bag. This for shopping, laptop. I put the laptop in there when I'm going to a cafe or something like that. This is the oldest thing I have. This is my favourite thing. I use this as a towel, actually. It was supposed to be I guess a dish towel, and I have had this about 20 years. I'm 32. I've had this 20 years. It never smells or rarely smells. The quality is unbelievable. It depicts I won't unwrap it, but it depicts Tintagel Castle, and I use it as a towel. It's a decent size, and because of the quality of this material, it's just absolutely excellent. It's fast drying. It's better than any of those stupid travel towels people get. In there's just another version of this for my clothes, and it has a shirt. I've got 3 shirts, one in there, which is blue, this one, and that's all you need. 2 t-shirts. One is the running one, which is synthetic, which goes with a pair of very, very short marathon runner shorts that are in here, along with one regular pair of conventional shorts. And then there's just a conventional black t-shirt as well. In addition to that, I did have 2 pairs of pants, but getting out of a truck yesterday, I ripped one of them and left them in the previous hotel. So now I have these rubbish ones, which is an expensive pair I bought in Bangladesh and turned out to be a scam. All the colours come out, so I'm getting a pair of jeans today. What else have we got? This is a mini stove. I've used it once. It was very good. It's absolutely tiny, as you can see. Very, very lightweight. Brilliant. That's a plug for a Microsoft Surface tablet I've been carrying around for 5 years, which was brand new. Still works, but the screen is completely smashed. And all the countries I've been going to, you cannot find a replacement Microsoft screen because Microsoft physical kind of hardware is so specific to certain Western countries. Not dissimilar to Huawei, which took me a year to get repaired because all of the stores in South America had closed. And eventually I found the last official store in Lima, Peru, and paid 150 quid to repair the screen. Context, everything was smashed because a car ran over my bag and crippled my old Kindle. This is a new one. Actually, it was on a Fire tablet, actually. This is a Kindle. It crippled the laptop, and it crippled the Microsoft Surface tablet, which is still in there broken, along with the keyboard. Documents are in there as well. And yeah, so that's what that is. What else have we got? This is just the cover for the bag. Just the waterproof cover that I actually rarely use, but it can be useful, especially on a hike. In addition to that, let's look at the bag itself. It's a second-hand bag. I used to have a very expensive, huge, it was an Osprey 120-litre transporter. If you know anything about hiking stuff, The 120 litre Osprey transporter is an absolute monster. It could carry like 4 times all of this. It was insane. I don't even know I had that. Obviously, you couldn't take it check-in on budget planes, so you had to pay for that, hog it around. Not worth it at all. This I actually got in Islamabad in Pakistan at a bike shop. Some tourists had left this, presumably years ago. It was like caked in dust, and it had probably honestly been there about 10 years. Someone's custom taped, where is it? It's on the front here. Someone's custom sewn, Europa. Underneath, the brand is there, but I've never actually bothered to look at it. No idea what that is. This bag, it was perfect. It's absolutely perfect. The size is brilliant. It's an older bag, so the quality is usually better for older products. You know, we live in this society now where, because of consumerism, materialism, and I'm not going to go on a rant, but they make things to break, as we know. Old gear, really, really good. Still not the best bag I've ever had. The best bag I've ever had was a very beautiful Arc'teryx bag in harvester colour. That was robbed in Las Vegas, but this one is brilliant. I paid £10 for that in Islamabad, and I've just had it repaired so many times for next to nothing. You know, the seams, because I really compact everything in here. I had these seams repaired, and these are hardcore now. Like, whoever repaired this just absolutely made it solid. The actual straps, because I've been carrying so much weight, and I have the habit of putting all of it on one strap, the right strap. There's actually fishing line sewed into this, which I had done in another city in Pakistan. So these are just absolutely rock solid. And yeah, I'm just content sewing up the little bits from time to time when it kind of shreds, and then I throw it in the washing machine and it all looks clean. So there's the sewing thing. What else in here? Just a little notebook that I've never used, and some free laundry powder that I got when I ordered a Food Panda, which is like Uber Eats in Bangladesh, and it's obviously useful, but I still haven't used it yet. In here, we got 2 pairs of underwear, and I've got 1 pair of white sports socks, 2 pairs of mohair hiking socks. Is it mohair I'm thinking of? It's the sheep. It begins with M. Forgive me, that's not the right word, but whatever. And 1 pair of regular socks. The socks I'm referring to, well, they're like these. They're brilliant. Great quality. I think I paid like £20 per pair for those, and totally worth it. I've said in another video, if you can overspend on one product, socks, it makes a huge difference having quality socks. It's absolutely superb. I think I mentioned the gloves already. In here, most of this is from the bike, actually. I haven't really used this, although I did use it the other day. Head torch, that was super cheap. That was actually free with that from Mountain Warehouse. And, torches are always useful, and it's something that I like, but I never actually get around to using them too often. In addition to that, let's open this up. We've got a high-powered torch, which was my front light on the bike. And yeah, why not keep it? It's you can hold it, it can be handheld. The quality is absolutely excellent. I've also got the backlight in there from the bike, the red one, the one that flashes in different strains, and that can be really good to strapping to your backpack when you're walking and hiking at night. I would say there are a few things in here to contradict my original point that I do not need, and that is these clips, these things. These are really high quality ones. I think they cost like 15 quid each. I obviously didn't spend that with cash. I had some Amazon credit left and needed to fill up the basket, and those things could be useful for something, and they're super lightweight as well. So yeah, that's what's in there. Just plaster, gauze tape. I've got, right, this is another one. This is similar to this. I had this on my first trip in 2012, and I think I got it in 2011. So it's probably expired, because these things they start to disintegrate. It's a aluminum foil blanket if you're in some issue in the freezing cold and you start to, hyperventilate and you need to get warm quickly. That's what that's for. It doesn't take up any weight at all, and frankly, it probably will come in useful at some point, come in use at some point, even though nearly 15 years has passed and I still haven't used it. See, that's the thing. Like, if you're practical and you're very organised and disciplined with your equipment, there's no reason to throw certain things away if there's space, if they don't take up any weight, and if they do have a use. I am slightly contradicting my earlier note that if you don't use something after a year, then just throw it away. And obviously 12 years is a really long time. I use that pretty much every day, but that I could throw it away, but it honestly weighs zero pretty much and takes up no space. And again, it has a use. I take that every time I go hiking. It's just fortunately I've never had to use it. Similar to like the gauze tape, and not gauze tape, the patches and stuff like that. I mean, the plasters, I've just put 3 on. I use the plasters all the time. But I have to get another pack today. But the thicker tape for a larger wound, I've never had to use, but it's something that you should have in your backpack. And again, it takes up no weight. These are my cycling glasses. Now, I haven't used those. They're not heavy, but I think they might be the next thing to go. Because, I don't like the design. I prefer the Ray-Ban design personally. And I've got a pair of fake Ray-Bans in there. But I think they're good quality. They're from the US. I paid quite a bit for them. And for hiking or for running, trail running, which I want to get back into, they could be useful. So I will try them out before I decide whether or not to keep them. Like I said, fake Ray-Bans in there. In here, we've got 2 old power banks. The original one, which is not original. I had a version of this in 2012, the exact same one, and it was really good. It's a PowerCell. And then lost that, so a few years later I got the same one. Cost me £7, and it's on its last legs now. It can just about charge one phone slowly. The top is all disintegrating, and that's relatively heavy, so that for sure is going to go soon. Likewise, this, which I got for the cycling trip and overpaid for, this is another bank that's also only got about 1 charge left, but it's super heavy and slow. I've got this one here, which has a timer which doesn't correlate actually to the amount of charge, which is newer, but also, I've been using power banks so much. I use them like multiple times a day. So, it's one of those things. They do have an expiry date on them, and they're good to replace. Very useful. This is another little head torch. It's very, very light. Do I need an extra one? I've got 4, probably not, but it doesn't weigh anything at all, and I do have the space at the moment because my general equipment it's just so minimalistic. In there I have all my cards. I've got also transport cards for countries I'm going to go back to. So for instance, the UAE, which is a great transit point, I've got all of their transport cards in there, all the bank cards, etc. What else do I have in there? I've got hard drives, 2 of them, and I've got my USB. Yeah. Oh, and a really good quality padlock, which does weigh about 1 kilo, but it's a key combination, and that is useful. I do use that when I'm in a place where there are lockers. Obviously, just sun cream, kids Factor 50, toothbrush. In there, I've got floss, tongue scraper. I don't use toothpaste. I use rock salt, so that's what that is. You can use coconut oil if you want. I don't recommend coconut oil, and I don't obviously recommend, if you know me, fluoride products. It's absolute poison, and it will kill your brain. So sea salt's really good, but it can be quite corrosive, and obviously can wear down your enamel, they say. So I have Nepalese rock salt there, and that's brilliant. And that whole pot cost me 20p, and it's lasted already like 6 months. Just a couple of things. When I get a takeaway, I always have at least a spoon, a straw, and I have some chopsticks, obviously, because we're in Asia. They're really useful if you're on a bus or going overland on a train and you buy something and I don't know, the spoon breaks or it just doesn't come with a spoon, yogurts and such things. In here, this is a Huel. It was supposed to be for noodles. I never really use this, but given that the dimensions of it just allow me to squeeze in my wireless speaker, which is in here, which is a Brazen speaker. I don't recommend the new Brazen speakers. They're terrible. I only got it because the original was great. That's in there. And then above that, I've got my wireless, my Bluetooth earbuds, which are J something. I can't remember the name of them. But this was great in China, because in China, when you take the trains, they love obviously noodles and tea and all that kind of stuff. So each carriage has essentially a kettle, a hot water system. So I just bought a load of green tea for the train journeys, and I would just put the bags in and then use this to to just absolutely chug tea for the entire duration of my Chinese trip. So this is brilliant. And again, this weighs nothing. This weighs absolutely nothing. Am I comfortable with constantly drinking from plastic? No, but yeah, I mean, you've got to compromise in life, haven't you? This is actually just for scrubbing an old toothbrush that was really hard. This was the craziest toothbrush I've ever bought in my life. It's like one of those metal bristles for rubbing dirt off your shoes, which is what I use this for now on my hiking shoes, which are outside. The hiking shoes are actually, they were left by someone in a place in the pool. So yeah, I stayed there like 2 weeks. They were still there. The person flew away, and I have them now, and they're really good quality. Blue. It's an Italian brand that's like really expensive, and I can't remember the name of it. It begins with D. But because my shoes are outside, I'm not going to go out and show you because they're a bit dirty. But those are the shoes I wear. So I only have the sandals, and I only have the hiking boots, which are kind of trainer boots, so you can use them as casuals. But honestly, I love the sandals. Ideally, when eventually the trainers disintegrate or something happens to them, I'm going to get a really good quality pair of kind of hybrids, kind of sandal hiking shoe things, because I love it. This is good. This weighs nothing. It's a little weight just to check. Yeah, I used it for the bicycle just to see if the panniers were balanced on the back wheel. And now if I get on a plane or whatever, I just want to weigh the equipment. That's really good. Nail clippers, tweezers, comb. That's that. Lighter. In here, I have got one thing that I need to get rid of, and that's quite heavy actually. So I've got my cables. I usually only carry 2 cables for each thing. So two of these for the phone in case one breaks. 2 of these because these 2 of the older version USBs, because the 2 power banks are aligned to the older cable, and that cable is about to break, so I do need to get a replacement today. In here I've got 2 shavers. I've got my original Philips, which is lightweight, and I probably could get rid of that now. And then I've got a newer one, so I've got 2. I don't need them both. I'm going to get rid of one of those. That's all that's in there. These are obviously water resistant pouches. They're really useful and they weigh nothing. I've got laptop. I've got 3 phones. So I've got the phone I'm obviously filming with, which is a Motorola G53, which I got because it's dual eSIM, and that's the only reason I got this phone. It was the cheapest dual eSIM phone on the market. Cost me about £135. The camera is absolutely shocking, as I'm sure you can tell. The phone on the top there is actually the G54, which is newer and more expensive, but I just haven't used it. Maybe it's got a better camera. I don't know. I haven't got around to trying it. It's my backup phone. I've pre-downloaded loads of banking apps and stuff in case I lose this phone or it gets stolen or whatever. It's really useful to have. When I went on the cycling trip, because I had credit with various companies, I just got loads of phones. So I actually have 5 phones at one point. I had a G53, G54, which you can see there. Underneath, there's an old Samsung, and I used that for the navigation for the front of the bike because the battery was really good, because it's not like a full, it's like an older smartphone. So I'd use that for my navigation, so I wasn't burning all the battery on my newer phones. Then I had a Google Pixel, which I actually sold in Georgia, never used that, in perfect condition. And then I had a BlackBerry for no reason. I don't know why I had the BlackBerry. So I got rid of the BlackBerry, got rid of the Google Pixel, probably just going to get rid of that there. It's just worthless. I tried to sell it when I got the Google Pixel sold, but the guy was like, no one's going to buy it. So I was like, oh, fuck it, it doesn't weigh anything. Sometimes it's useful for hikes to have 3 phones. Yeah, this little pouch broke. I just broke it 2 seconds ago, and in there is a watch I bought from Kashgar, an old watch. I really liked the colour of it. I paid €4 for that 4 days ago, and then the strap came off, and the pin, I threw it in the bag somewhere, and I can't find the pin, so I'm going to have to get that repaired whilst I'm in Narring, because I really like that colour. It's gorgeous. Like I said, I just broke that, so I could either just throw it away. Again, that's original. Just like with this and this, it's been in my bag like 10 years, made in China. I paid like £1 for it on Amazon UK in 2012, and it's been absolutely great. Solid, it's protected so many things, completely waterproof, brilliant. And I've just ripped the zip off. It's just disintegrated. Sorry, not the zip, the zipper thing. So I might get that repaired. I don't know. It might be cheaper just to buy another one. Almonds, yeah, you know what those are for. Like I said, documents in there. Got a cap. I'm wearing 2 beanies at the moment. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've got the obviously multi-USB there, the original plug for my Huawei laptop. Like I said, that's a Kindle. Oh yeah, I've got this little Go Ape. I got this in 2012 as well, so the quality is probably shocking. It's a 4K. I've used it to do a time lapse on a hike with a German and an Austrian guy, which the crazy Bolivian story is from, actually, or it relates to them. I did a time lapse of our camping in the valley, doing one of the alternative Machu Picchu trails. I can't remember the name of it now, it begins with A. So, but I never really use that. That's another pointless thing, you'd think, but at some point maybe it is useful. I did strap it to the front of the bike because I had the actual official clip, but never really got round to using it. But I do want to get a bike again, so maybe that'll be something to keep. But all of this comes in weight-wise, and I know it exactly because nothing's really changed. It's 11.5 kilos. So I think that's pretty impressive. You know, all of this, bearing in mind, you know, the expanse of equipment that you have there, all of that for 11.5 kilos, and I could easily get that down to 10, which is usually what you need when you're traveling hand luggage, because I never pay for actual luggage. I always do hand luggage, and the trick is, even if your bag's overweight, you always check in online, or if it's not possible, you leave your bag somewhere in the airport where you can kind of eye it, and then you go and check in with a little carry shoulder bag with your laptop and stuff. And then when they ask you, do you have any extra baggage? You just say no. And then, of course, you get your ticket, you grab your bag, you go through check-in, and then you also wait until it's final call in case they catch you out by saying, oh, you need to weigh your bag, or this looks oversized. Because when it's final call, there's an unofficial rule that they never start questioning people's luggage weight or size, because if an airline delays their flight, the airport fines them thousands for every 5 minutes they're over their schedule. So that's a little note for you guys. All you have to do is just wait until it's final boarding, just eye the gate and make sure you're like one of the last passengers on. So yeah, that's the equipment. Like I said, I've arrived in Naryn. I'm in a homestay. I'm excited to be here. I've got lots of little administrative things to do. I've got to get a new pair of glasses because I've only got one, and the other one I dropped in that cave in, where was it? I dropped it in a cave in Taiwan. So I haven't got round to getting another one because I think I need to get a new eye test, and then obviously by the time the glasses get made, because I've got a double stigmatism, it might take like, I don't know, a week, and I'm never really in a place long enough to get that kind of stuff done. So I need to get that done here in Kyrgyzstan. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, if you have any questions about equipment or anything like that, if anyone actually watches this video, obviously just feel free to message me or do whatever. But honestly, I think if you're packing anything else that you think is like a novelty item, you honestly don't need it. There are certain things, of course, you look at them and you're like, oh, that's so cool, I'm going to need that. For instance, a life straw. I've always wanted a life straw. Have I ever needed a life straw? No. You can just boil your water if you've got gas. A life straw maybe is a good thing to have, but you know, there's so many little novelty things that when you start adding them up, the weight, it just, you know, you realise before you go on your first travel, your first trip. And I see so many people often at hostels or guest houses, or, you know, on couchsurfing or wherever, and I look at their equipment and I'm like, oh my God, like I used to be that guy in 2012. All these little things that I was carrying like mosquito repellent lines that you hang from the ceiling, and just wristbands, and just all kinds of stupid things. So yeah, minimalistic is great because the weight is going to be on your shoulders for hours and hours a day, and at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to be exhausted. You want to have as much energy as possible. You want to make a hiking trip as comfortable as possible. And that really all comes down to practicality, discipline, and making sure, you know, all your equipment isn't over or isn't under. It's just exactly what you need. So I'll leave it at that before I start going on a tangent or rant. 29 minutes. Feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, see you soon.